Okay, welcome everybody. This is Voices Unchained, conversations with the formerly incarcerated, and I'm super excited to get this podcast slash video cast going. And so this is our very first one. So welcome.
Welcome.
And my name is Sean Kelly, and here's my friend Carlos Williams.
Carlos Williams.
And we're sitting in here, going to have a cool conversation today about incarceration. And I just wanted to kind of shout out to the audience and anybody who might be listening or watching us today that we're going to be, keeping it real. We're going to have a real conversation here,
Most definitely.
and we're going to be vulnerable. We're going to be open. We're going to be honest. And honestly, what we talk about might bring up some stuff for everybody, the listener, us. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to make sure we take care of you and take care of ourselves as
In
well.
a real way.
In a real way. And so if any of this is too much, or if it's, if you have a friend who's incarcerated, if you've been incarcerated, if somehow you relate to the story and it triggers stuff, if you've been a victim of crime, just take care of yourself. We really want you to take care of yourself. And,
very important.
Very important. And
Yes,
so
very important.
at a certain point, I might actually guide us into some sort of guided meditation just so that we have a ground and anchor to return to if needed. But
why not start with it? Start with it.
We can start with that. Sure.
Yeah.
We can start with that. But we'll start off with just kind of coming back to center and just coming into our bodies and just kind of taking a moment to take a deep breath and just start to feel your energy inside your body. And maybe your whole body can just start to relax as you breathe deeply into your belly. And you can notice how the facial muscles, if they're holding tension, can soften and relax. The neck and shoulders can soften and relax. And you can just let your whole body just soften and relax. And as your whole body relaxes from the top of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet, you might just fall back into a real state of peace and relaxation and warmth inside yourself, whatever that is for you. I don't know if you've ever been walking down a beach and what it's like just to be on the beach, just feeling the breeze on your skin and hearing the sound of the waves and just feeling the footsteps in the sand, but just how good that feels just to be on a beach. And you can even sit in the sand and just lie on the earth and just receive the support and the nourishment of the earth as you relax into yourself, into your cells. And so wherever you are right now, just put your hand anywhere on your body and your legs and your whatever body part just comes to mind, and you can just let this feeling get even stronger. Just this sense of relaxation and this sense of warmth and openness and goodness inside. And then this can be, an anchor for you at any point during our conversation. If you need to return to this place, just put your hand back on your leg, or just remember this beach, or just come back to a place of calm and relaxation and resource inside so that you can really take care of yourself. Okay? So that's a nice place to begin from, isn't it, Carlos?
Yes, it is. Something I needed, something I always need.
Yeah.
A good meditation, brother. All day.
Yeah. So Carlos, just if you could just introduce yourself in terms of just give us a sense of who you are right now in your life at this point, and just give the audience a sense of where you've been and just kind of a general synopsis of things.
All right. Name is Carlos Williams. That's spelled like this, like Carl with a K and the IS at the end. So Carlis or Carlise. However you want to pronounce it is up to you, but that's how it's spelled. I answer to both. I even answer to Carlos. Some people call me Carlos. Yeah, I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Um, kind of a natural born rebel when coming up as a kid. So I guess that's where that's where it began when I was young as a kid. Came up, I say this a lot. He told me don't go to the mud, just to give you an example. He told me not to go to the mud. I would go anyway, just to see what would happen. I would get muddy. So that was before I even knew my name good. That was before I even knew how to, knew the world good. I was that, and that kind of stuck with me. And I went in and out of prison. First, I started off as juvenile facilities, raised up in the ghetto part of the Boston area. However, um, I was in church, so I had like the best of both worlds. In church all the time. My mom, she was what they called, what they used to call sanctified. My mama, she was sanctified, and you know, so I grew up in church, and my dad, he was in the streets when we was little, and then my mom used to go to him, come up to him, and say, "You gonna preach one day? You gonna preach?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, right." Turn the ball over. Yeah, right. Laughing at her. Yeah, right. And he actually became a preacher by the time I was like 5 or 6 years old. So we kind of grew up in church, but we was living in the hood, going to hood schools, ghetto schools, and hood schools, what we call ghetto in the hood. Um, what most people call urban. Some people call urban communities. Some people call them different names. However, yeah. So anyway, long story short, just a quick, brief introduction of me. I was in and out of prison, and now I am volunteering for different organizations. For one, Freedom Farm. Me and Sean is the CEO of Freedom Farm.
Freedom Farms, baby.
I work on the farm, man. And yeah, and I volunteer for Golden Rule Reentry, and they're working me into the program. Sean has already started paying me. You know what I'm saying? This is my passion now. I was in and out of prison all my life.
Yeah.
So giving back to the reentry side of things is my passion because I don't, I look back and you know, I wouldn't change anything that I went through in my life because I wouldn't be here today right now where I'm sitting. However, there was sprinkles of resentments that were there, and I got over that. But I don't like people going in and out of prisons like I did, in and out of these different institutions like I did. Recidivism is a thing. It's a big thing in our societies and in our world in general. It's big. And so I wouldn't kick against the ones powers that be about it. I wouldn't be going to them talking about, hey, stop what you're doing. This is what feeds their families. I might get in some trouble doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, going to the source of the matter, going to the source, the ones that are going in and out, one by one, we can help somebody, man.
That's right.
One by one, if it's just one person, I can help change his mind about going to prison, about going in and out.
Yeah.
If it's just two people, three people, and if we can even reach hundreds and thousands of people, that would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is my passion, man.
Beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
And so one of the themes of this particular interview is the role that trauma plays in the creation of the sort of the criminal mindset
Oh
and how
yeah.
that happens. And I don't know, man, what would it be like if you could go back to a time, like what was it? What if you could think about your earliest memory? And please feel free if it gets too much to take a break or whatever. But
I'm
what?
an open book.
Yeah, you're
Never too
good.
much.
Never too much for you, huh? But
All right.
if you go
Is what
back
it
into
is.
your history, back in time, what memory shows up as sort of the pivotal one where you just really made some sort of choice that this is who I am and this is sort of, was there something in your childhood that really sticks out?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was real young, like maybe 5, 6, or 7, I can't exactly remember exactly what age. Me and my brother, we were playing with our toys. He broke his truck. I had a truck. He had a truck. My oldest brother, Alan, um, on my mom's side, he broke his truck, and was playing with mine. He came, tried to take mine, and so we fighting over the truck. And my great grandfather, he y'all stop this fighting, y'all stop. And he come back trying to get the truck again. He want the truck now. You know, his wheel broke. He want to take mine. You know, so my great grandfather got out of his not wheelchair, out of his rocking chair, and came toward us, and he took the truck from us. Get y'all fight again, you know, whoop you, you know, we'll get you. So I was mad. I was in my feelings. I wasn't listening to nothing he was saying. That was my truck, you know, that he just took. You know, I was feeling some type of way about that. So he was rocking in his chair, and I know he probably had a sense of me over there watching him the whole time. I think he did. And anyway, I I guess he was acting like he was asleep because he was rocking, and then all of a sudden his eyes were closed, his head was back. I crept over there to where the rocking chair was. His truck was under his rocking chair, so I got the truck wheels, tried to get as quiet as possible, and tried to walk away real fast. Next thing you know, he was reaching for me. And I dodged his hand, and I took off running. He got up out the rocking chair. He was 90-something years old at this time.
Wow.
And my dad's granddad.
Your
And
dad's granddad, so
yeah,
like your great granddad.
my
Huh?
great granddad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my dad's granddad.
Wow.
And he got out the rocking chair and he started chasing me. And so I threw the truck, thinking he was going to get the truck back, but he kept chasing me. And so I kept running, and next thing you know, he tripped and fell.
Wow.
You know, and he couldn't get up. So they called the ambulance, and the ambulance came and got him. So he had to do a hip replacement surgery. And I think either during that surgery or while he was asleep or something, he passed away. It was 2 weeks later he passed away.
Mm.
And so my family, aunties, uncles, cousins, you killed Papa. You killed Papa. You know.
Wow.
So yeah, when I was younger, that was the that trauma, that what you call stigmatism, or that stuck in me. It was stuck in me.
Yeah.
I thought I was a killer.
Mm.
You know, I did. I thought I was a killer, so I started going to school. You know,
So what was it like though to be sort of accused of something you didn't do, and to like that young part of you obviously knew like you didn't kill him, it wasn't your fault, but like what
I did. I literally thought I did.
you literally thought you did, yeah.
And my mom, my mom used to try to console me in that way, but she was the only one. And in my little young mind, you my mama, you love me. Everybody else saying I killed him, so I killed him. You know,
So you really believed
I
it that you
really
killed.
believed that I
Wow.
killed my great grandfather
Yeah.
when I was young. I really believed that it was in me.
And then you mentioned something about from that belief you just had this feeling of like I am a killer.
I'm a killer.
Wow.
I'm a killer. That's what I felt. That's what I thought. I would go to school with that chip on my shoulder,
Yeah.
and anybody tried me in any way, made me mad, I would sharpen my pencil, and I would try to stab them just to show them that I was a killer.
Wow.
Yeah, that was what was in my little head,
Mm. And so you started acting sort of acting that way, and
acting as if I was
as
a
if you were a
killer.
killer, yeah.
Even though I was a little happy dude, I laughed at everything. I had fun. I was still a kid.
Yeah.
You know, I would, and then my uncle would call me a crook. Hey, crook. Every time he said, hey, crook, come here, crook. Yo, let me holler at you, crook.
Mm.
What you got going, crook? What you doing? You know.
Yeah.
So I thought I was a crook, and I thought I was a killer.
And
Because every time, and we'd all lived in the same house, a 4-story house on 1 Wellington Street in Boston, Massachusetts.
wow.
I was born in Boston City Hospital, and
So a 4-story house with how many people living in it?
man, on the first floor was my grandmother. She had the whole first floor. On the second floor was 2 apartments. Third floor, 2 apartments. Fourth floor, 2 apartments. But we all were family,
Hmm.
all family. You know, uncles, aunts, cousins, and you know, we were on the top, very top floor, the 4th floor.
Yeah.
You know, in the corner, with the window looking at the front
Hmm.
of the house. You know, looking all the way down 4 stories, and We used to all just be running around, cousins and uncles, and everybody was just in the open. My grandmother's part, her door was a revolving door. Breakfast was ate down there, dinner was ate down there. We stayed in the refrigerator. We stayed causing havoc. The big floor, the big floor, big screen floor TV
Yeah.
was down there. So we all watched movies down there. So that's what it was, and yeah, it was it was something. And so yeah, I thought I was that
And so you kept getting those messages from
from my
your
family,
authority figures, all of your family
all
saying
my
you're a
family.
killer,
Yeah,
you're a crook.
yeah. I'm crook, hey crook. And so I used to go to school stealing GI Joes and Transformers, coming home with GI Joes and Transformers, and brand new pencils and pens from other students. I practiced the art like walking on my way to this pencil sharpener. And I'd swipe somebody of their pencil or their pen off their desk. I would practice the art. While they're working, I'm in their book pack taking their GI Joes and Transformers.
Hmm.
You know,
So you started being a crook,
I
just a
started being a
very
crook. I started
and
being a real crook.
so you were stealing pencils and
First
GI
grade.
Joes and yeah,
Yeah.
reaching into people's bags and
Yeah.
grabbing stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bringing stuff home. Just yeah.
Yeah. And then how did the sense of like did violence show up at that point at all? Like you said,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Violence did show up. One time, this third grader had beat up my cousin Clint, and this was in Arkansas. We had moved to Arkansas by then.
Hmm.
It was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and this third grader had beat up my cousin. This is on my mom's side now. I had beat up my cousin, and he was too big for me. He scared me. I was scared to go up to him, and he pushed me down, and so I got real mad, fuming, and I couldn't take my mind off of it. When we went back, we filed in line and went back in. Second and third grade had to pass by our classroom, so one of those big old pencils. I went sharpened it, sat down at my desk, and was waiting to see when the second grade was going by, and we knew when the third grade was in the hallway because they would stop against the wall and get accounted for. And then when they stopped against the wall, that's when I got up and just ran out there, sprinted out there until I saw him and ran up to him and stabbed him in his arm.
Wow. Yeah. No-
And it was a big thing.
How old were you?
I was probably six,
6 years old.
six,
Yeah.
yes, about 6 years old.
Yeah.
First grade.
First grade, right?
Yeah, so six.
Yeah. And so, just curious, Carlos, like if you could go back to that child right now from, at that time, just given everything that's happened since and what you know and what you realize at this point,
Hmm.
what did he really need? Like, what was missing that he didn't get? And I'm curious, what would it be like if you could just connect with him right now and what does he really need? What was needed that he didn't really get?
What did he need? Maybe some attention. Maybe he needed attention.
Attention.
Maybe he needed to be talked to. Because back then I used to get beatings, um, butt naked beatings
Mm.
with belts.
Mm.
And the older I got, they grew from belts to sticks to extension cords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Switches plaited together.
Wow. So start off with beatings and then belts and
Yeah, belts and
got worse as you
switches.
got
Yeah, it got
bigger, huh?
worse. Yeah,
Wow.
as I
Wow.
got older. Yeah, so yeah, it was always a beating,
Mm.
and it didn't work because I don't. If it did work, I don't think I would have went through all the stuff I went through.
Yeah.
It's just. I don't know. I don't know if it would have made. I don't know if it made matters worse, or if it.
Yeah.
But I just know it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe it was meant for me to go what I went through. Who knows? It's all a mystery to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said one of the things that he would have needed at that time was just to be listened to and to
Listen
be
to.
heard.
Yeah.
And what would he be saying? Like what needs to be heard from him if you were to go back to him right now?
That maybe some maybe some positive affirmations needs to be said to him. You
Positive
know,
affirmations. Yeah.
like you're not a killer. You're a good person.
Mm.
You're a smart person. You're educated. You're um, uh, you know, some kudos. How do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
You
Some
know, some
kudos, right?
yeah, some kudos, some pats on the back. You know, you did great.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And if you were to give that to him right now, how would he respond?
His whole outlook would probably be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
9 times out of 10, I think his outlook on life would have been a whole lot different than what it was.
Yeah.
His outlook on life was not something I would wish on any child, you know,
Yeah.
about himself. Because
So
it wasn't just mama and daddy, it was auntie, uncles, grandmama, granddaddies, and everybody, cousins, they all used to beat me.
oh, they all used to beat you,
What?
not just
Everybody.
everybody.
Used to the people in the church.
People in the church. Yeah.
Instead of talking to me, they used to get the belt or get a switch or
Wow.
get the paddle. In school they had the paddle.
Yeah.
Get 3 hard licks.
And but somehow like it didn't really impact. Like you took it.
Yeah, I took it. I didn't want to get beat. I used
Yeah.
to cry,
Yeah.
and I took it, but I went right back to doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So it didn't work.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
No, beatings didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They somehow had a positive intention in doing it. You know, they
yeah,
wanted something for you and from you, but it
yeah.
clearly didn't work. Huh?
It didn't work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right?
Violence, pain, inflicting pain for a mistake that's done by an innocent child,
Mm.
inflicting pain, that doesn't work. It may work on an animal, but it doesn't work on children. And I wouldn't even suggest it for an animal.
Yeah.
There's other ways, man.
Yeah.
Inflicting pain, that's not cool.
That's not cool, right?
Yeah.
What was their situation though? Your parents and your like what do you think that was going on in them that
They were just doing what they knew to do.
yeah
They didn't, it was done to them.
it was done, they were
It was,
doing what was done to
it was
them?
done to them, was passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And I traced that back to the slavery times.
Yeah.
Just the whip on the back, whop, whop, whop. And then from generation to generations, they got whipped, so they whooped their kids to do right. This is what was instilled, you know.
Yeah.
This is what was instilled in the gene.
Right.
And so it's passed down from generation to generation.
Right. And so that was sort of your trauma, I guess, in your childhood, and
Yeah, that was my trauma,
that
man.
was your trauma right there. Yeah.
Just always getting the negative instead of getting the positive affirmations or or the motivations to do better.
Yeah.
I used to get beat for doing wrong, and so that's all I knew. I'm a
Yeah.
bad boy. Collar's so bad, boy. That collar's he's so bad. That collar's a bad boy. That's all I knew. I was bad. So that was my outlook. I'm bad.
Yeah.
I can remember when before I was even able to walk. I can literally remember being in my dad's arm and my dad's cousin. I remember they used to call him bruh. His name is Sylvester. They used to call him bruh. And he used to walk up, what's up, Carl? What's up, you bad little boy? Punching on me. And I'm laughing. And then I swing. Pop! I hit him in the eye. And the reason why I realize why I remember this incident. I hit him in the eye. He he jumped back and was like, boy, I'll whoop you. Just
Yeah.
with his whole facial expression changed. He cussed at me and it frightened my young self. That's how I remember. Don't you never swing at me. Don't you never hit me. Don't you?
Yeah.
And I remember that. So it was an instinct for me to swing even before.
Mm.
I'm just swinging.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So yeah. That was kind of I can see how that was traumatizing
Yeah. And
to me as a little kid.
and do you think if you had to receive a different kind of parenting, would your life have been different at all, or would it have
Almost
unfolding?
definitely,
Yeah,
most definitely. They were just kids too, though.
yeah,
My mom was 16 and my dad was 19 when I was born.
mm,
So they were kids.
yeah,
My mom was 15 and he was 18 when my brother Alan was born. You know, yeah. So they were just kids
mm,
raising kids.
mm.
You know,
Kids raising kids. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So they didn't know any better. They only did what happened to them.
yeah,
You know, so I don't blame them.
yeah. And so the reason we're kind of honing in on this trauma
Hmm.
piece is we see lots of these mean tough guys locked up in prison and all the
Yeah,
stuff that happens,
yeah,
and many people don't realize or don't even know, like, if you were to see that person as a young child, if you were to see that person
yeah.
from their past and what they've been through and the
Mm.
role that trauma has played in the creation of this human being
That's
here.
right, bro. That's heavy, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's heavy, man. And I can see where trauma plays a big part in a lot of people's lives.
mm,
I see it here every day. I even see my own trauma reacting to someone else's trauma,
yeah, yeah,
and things that's in me, still in me that I'm actually still working on,
right,
you know.
yeah,
And like if somebody gets their trauma is triggered, they lash out, and with them lashing out, my trauma gets triggered, and I lash out. So I have to catch myself.
yeah.
I have to see myself. I'm working with these guys. I'm working with these women, and I have to catch myself and see my own self. You know, because their trauma gets triggered, and it's not a pretty thing when it gets triggered. And the other day, I couldn't even. Somebody's trauma was triggered, and I couldn't even talk to this person. I couldn't even because they were triggered. They couldn't see nothing but the trauma.
Mm.
Their reaction to their trauma is being non-social. They can't hear anything. It's like saying womp 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 womp. That's all they hear, womp womp. And then when they get no recollection, all they see is the trauma.
Mm.
And so trauma is a big deal, man.
Yeah, yeah. And when it shows up for you, like, what typically happens? Like, what's been your response, and what have you learned, and how have you grown in terms of your response to your trauma, and then and how did you get there? Like, what was the
Yeah.
tools that worked for you?
Well, I came a long way. I came a long way, and how I got there was through experience, um, growing up and maturing. It took me longer than others. Some people are some people were born with drama free lives because they respond different. My response has always been instinctive. Always head first. What's up? Let's do it. Let's catch the bat. Let's go outside. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
always been instinctive and to lash out back and to respond.
It's like an impulse.
Impulse,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So, and that's how you know it's built-in genetic trauma.
yeah.
That's how you know because there was no time to think about it. It just happened,
Right.
you know. And when it just happens, is genetic. Is either it came from mom and daddy, or it came from my upbringing, or something that happened in my past, and I'm just automatically now it's in my gene now.
Yeah,
And so, with that being said, yeah, we're talking about this. I would hate to pass that on.
yeah.
I would hate to pass that on to some innocent child.
Right.
So it's good that I'm aware of what's going on with me now.
Yeah. Well, when
And
you say it just happens, is that true? If you slow it down, like, let's imagine, just if you could remember the last time you experienced a
just
reaction like
yeah,
that,
just the other day,
just the other
what I
day.
was saying, yeah.
Yeah. So let's break that down, because I'm
Hmm.
just curious, because
Hmm.
you said it just happened or it's genetic, but is there a point in there where there's choice, and
That's right.
you know,
It is.
and with that choice, is there an opportunity then to take responsibility for your part in it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
It
just
is.
if we could slow it down, like, what was it
Okay.
like for you that time? So maybe you could describe the
Yeah,
situation, and we can
most definitely.
go through it.
Okay, so when when trauma happened for me, when that instinctive response to someone else's trauma happened to me just the other day.
So what was the situation? Somebody walks into the office and
Somebody walks into the office. Um, um, it was something that had to do with something something that had to do with business that me and this person had going,
yeah,
and it had to do with business, and they had been through me not knowing. They had already been through a lifetime of going through people trying to take advantage of them in business, you know.
yeah,
And so in my heart now, I've grown to the place where I integrity is keen and observant in me. I observe, and this is how I deal with my trauma now because I'm able to observe myself. The first key is for me to start observing myself.
yeah.
However, I hadn't been through a situation like this in a while,
Okay.
and so um, this person uh, was accusing me. We were starting this little business, right? And we're excited about it. We both got our names on there. We're good. And the next day they come in. Um, I don't want no part. I changed my mind. I don't want no parts of it. Hold on. What's going on? I just don't want no parts of it. I said, hold on. What's going on? You trying to trick me? You trying to do what? And now I feel automatically like they're 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 trying to trick me as if I tried to manipulate them into something. In other words, they're trying to trigger me on purpose. The whole thing was a trick to try to bring me back to my past as if I'm trying to be manipulative or conniving in some way, and I'm not trying to be in my integrity.
Yeah.
So this is what's going on with me in my heart. This is where my trauma is coming from. You calling me a lie now. You saying I'm manipulative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm in my feelings instead of me.
What were those feelings when being called those things? Like what was the
Those feelings were because that's what I've been called all my life.
uh,
Because those feelings were true. Those things were true at one point.
at one point?
At
Yeah.
one point in my life, I was a manipulative, conniving dude that if I wanted it, I'm going to say or do anything I can to get what I want. You know,
Yeah.
and everything that was going through my mind was like, what? How in the world will I benefit from
Yeah.
doing this to you? And what the? And I found out later on somebody tricked them in a couple of businesses and left them with the ball hanging after they did what they did and got on down, left them with the ball hanging.
Yeah.
And they're getting this past trauma at this time, and they came in like, take me off, take me off. We had
Yeah.
to go through the third party person just to get them off of there, and then I was, I'm in my feelings, and then I had to look at it. Boom, they were traumatized in some kind of way, Carlos. And now you are going through your trauma and allowing your trauma instead of being a help for their trauma, you're allowing you guys' trauma, both of y'all traumas are clashing,
Yeah.
and so our traumas became dramas.
Your traumas became
It
dramas.
was
Yeah.
a drama,
Yeah.
and so I immediately had to stop.
What was was there anger present?
Anger,
Yeah.
most definitely anger was present.
Yeah.
Like, man, you got me messed up, man.
And underneath the anger, there was a sense of like, I'm not that person. You're. What
Yeah,
was underneath the anger?
like as if they were trying to manipulate me in
Ah.
some way because this can't be. You can't feel like I tried to trick you in some kind of way.
Yeah.
You're trying to manipulate me and make me look bad in some kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I was at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And so you felt that impulse, that instinctual kind of
that instinct to lash
to
back,
lash back.
to lash out and lash back. Yeah.
And right there, was there a moment where you had a choice?
yeah. So
They're
so
great. So let's look at this. So
the choice came when I was able to see it.
when
When I
you're
was
able to
able
see it,
when
yeah,
I was able to see it first. The choice didn't come until I was able to see it. You have to be able to observe it first to make the choice. So the same thing happened again. They checked to see if everything was off, and they came back in. Everything's not off. I checked, my name is still on there, and automatically, I don't even want to be a part of it anymore now. And I was like, well, good. I don't want you to be a part of it. And so it came again, and then this time, boom, I noticed it before it got out of hand.
before it got out of hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I realize now that a person, the desire to change a certain thing inside, or a certain trauma, a certain piece in there that causes instinctive behavior. That desire to change that has to be there first, and then to watch it, to be observant of it. Not meaning that those emotions won't come, but but there but then there's a catching it while the emotions are there, and feeling the emotions while they're there, and then just being still
Mm. Being
while the
still.
emotions are there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that being still, that not moving
Mm.
while they're there,
Mm.
and so
And what's
they,
the experience like of being still, while there's emotions
whew, it's heavy.
present?
It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's fuming. You want to move. The movement wants to come out, but if when I was still and able to be with that person instead of me lashing out with my own trauma, I was able to be with that person,
Mm.
and then everything worked itself out.
Everything works itself out.
Everything worked
Beautiful.
itself out.
Oh. So you had the experience of both reacting from your trauma to somebody else's trauma and the drama that happened from that. And then you had another opportunity later
Yeah.
to,
And it started off with the reaction, and then I caught myself because I saw it now,
yeah,
and I want that to change because
beautiful.
I asked for that to change.
Mm. Beautiful,
And I'm
Carlos.
still asking for that to change, because for it to come out in the beginning, there's still something else. So I got to be constantly and observant of that, because I'm here for a service, not to be dealing with Carlos. Well, I'm still dealing with Carlos, and this is how I grow, by observing myself.
Beautiful. Mm. Mm. Beautiful, Carlos. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So this is
Yeah,
we didn't know where this was going
yeah,
today,
it's beautiful,
but
right?
this is the first sort of theme of the inquiry together. It's just the influence that trauma plays in our lives,
Right.
and as we're listening to this, I mean, everybody has trauma. Everybody,
Yes.
it's a buzzword now. Everybody's using it, but it's true, and so we all respond differently to trauma in our lives, and
That's
so
right. That's right.
even though we might look at the formerly incarcerated as having more trauma than other people,
That's right.
it's still trauma,
It's
and
still trauma.
and so how you respond and how you grow from it, and how you heal
Yes.
on the inside from it is an important thing.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not where I was. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm most definitely not where I used to be.
Yeah.
The the first piece of trauma that I experienced was last week, and someone came in, and I'm at the front desk, so I handle everyone who comes in. They have to sign in, and they have to, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
There's a protocol to
it's a
sort of come
protocol,
in.
certain protocols. You can't just go to nobody's office. You know,
Yeah.
somebody came in with a bag and just threw the bag down, and went back there to the kitchen and said, "Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm not here for you. I don't know you." And automatically I was triggered. That was the first time.
That was the first
That
time.
was the
Yeah.
first time it happened.
Yeah.
I was triggered. Oh man. I felt disrespected. He's raising his voice at me, what I'm saying? And handed me, put his hand in my face, holy crap. Man. So, that automatic sting.
Hmm.
So instead of reacting like I used to, I raised my voice. you know, look, man, you got a protocol. You got to sign this. You got to sign this sheet, man. You know what I'm saying? I was ready. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that guy was that guy that Carlos has been working on was ready. You know, however, he didn't come out. You know, he didn't come out. He came out in a different way, and immediately I just came to the authority figure over the building. Listen, we got a problem. I disturbed the meeting. I wouldn't disturb the meeting. I knew they were in the meeting, but I had to disturb it, or else I was going to be disturbed. So anyway, we got a problem. This dude here being totally disrespectful, and and that's the first time I've ever done something like that because I usually don't tell nobody nothing.
You take care of it
I
yourself.
take care of it myself. I
Yeah, used to. Yeah,
used to take care of it myself, but there's a difference now.
yeah,
And this growth is very, very profound.
beautiful. And
Uh,
Carlos, could you tell me like where? So where did this growth? Like where did it start? Like how? Like were there certain practices you were exposed to? Was it a certain sort of line of thinking or
yeah,
teacher? How did you discover
yeah.
this?
While I was in prison, I was exposed to this by reading literature from the Gangaji Foundation.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, while I was in prison, I was searching for myself. I was on in the whole maximum security, sending out letters to different organizations, prison organizations, and I found this organization here in the Rogue Valley in Ashland, Oregon, called the Gangaji Foundation, and it was about 2015, 16. I would say 16 to 17. I would say 17. No, 16. I would say 16, 2016, a couple years before I got out. And they started sending me materials, and it was very profound stuff that I did not understand. You know, phrases like "stop," and I say a phrase because that's a phrase. Stop.
Stop.
It's a phrase to me now. Back then, I didn't understand. It was just one word to me then.
Right.
Stop. Stop what? And that stop means so much. Means don't move.
Don't move.
Don't
Right.
move.
Yeah.
And so in the midst of whatever I'm facing, whether no matter what emotion it is, whether it's depression, stress, anger, just whatever comes, whatever arises, just be still
Mm-hmm.
and don't touch it. You know, feel the emotion fully. That's what I was taught, and that practice um, that Gangaji teaches is very profound.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I practiced it in there, meditated, and every time my emotion would come up, I would stop and just go into myself and feel it. And every time I got to the other side of that emotion, it was always something beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it started there, and then
Some sort of awareness started coming in
oh yeah,
that you didn't have before,
oh yeah,
and that the stopping
the
in the
stopping,
midst of
the stopping, and her teaching of vigilance,
our teaching of vigilance. Yeah. Yeah.
being always being aware of myself, and that constant vigilance, that persistence on watching,
Mm.
having a careful watch over my actions and over my thoughts and over that vigilance.
Mm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful, Carlos.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean, and there's a lot in here that we just kind of unpacked, and it's good
yeah,
to just kind of flush it all out. But this is
yeah,
sort of a nice little way to begin. Is just to
yeah. I like
start
it.
from the beginning. And you know, one of the things that I thought about as we were getting this interview ready is like people are often distracted by the entertainment factor of crime, and
Hmm.
everybody finds cops and robbers and those. It's a very entertaining. You have a very entertaining story, and
Oh my God.
we're gonna hear it over time here as we keep meeting and sort of
Yeah,
delving into it. But I
yeah,
think this is really the crux of it. Your
yeah,
willingness to be vulnerable, and your willingness to be open, and your willingness to sort of take a look at your
yeah.
trauma and how it started and how it plays out and
Oh
how
my God.
it
Yeah.
unfolded, and look at you now. Just on the other side of it, just able
Yeah,
to speak about it.
yeah,
So thank you, Carlos, so much.
yeah. Most definitely, man. Yeah, I'm psyched. I'm excited, stoked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know a word that can really truly describe it. But what we're doing is a beautiful thing because it'll bring awareness to those who don't have this awareness and those who are constantly wondering, why do I have to keep going through this? And even today, in the heightened emotions of this true being that I have come to know, that's holding up Carlos, this eternal being that lives within me, that's holding me up, me getting to know this person and getting in alignment. I won't say person, but me getting to know my true self and getting in alignment with my true self. You know, now I understand what they mean by know thyself, not know my skin color, my culture, where I came from, and that stuff is good.
Yeah.
It has its profoundness also. It tells me why I'm so strong. It tells me why I'm so fast. It tells me why I can shoot a basketball accurately. It shows me why I can catch a football accurately. It tells me a lot of different other things. It tells me why I'm so creative when I go back into my genetics and my ancestors. It's a good thing and it's profound. But when I met Gangaji through the literature, through our literature, and was able to learn how to go inside myself and get to know the true being that is here before Carlos, during Carlos, and that's going to be here after Carlos. That being is the ground of being. That space, you know, that's what did it for me.
Beautiful. Wow. Hmm.
You know.
So you had a spiritual awakening of sorts
Oh yeah.
when you first read those words and when you
Oh
started
yeah.
inquiring into Gangaji's teaching
Yeah.
and it had a profound impact on you in
Yeah.
there, huh?
Most definitely. I had an uh, um, epiphany before Gangaji, but then when I started, because I took over myself when I was on maximum security, I took over myself. Something took over me, so it had to be this eternalness, this vastness that holds Carlos up,
Mm.
took over me, and I grabbed myself, hugged myself, and I rocked back and forth, and I repeated, "Please wake up, please wake up, please wake up, please wake up," and I was crying, "Please wake up," and I didn't know what was going on. To me, I was wondering, what in the world is this? However, I started to listen after so long, the crying and the tears, the uncontrollable crying, and my body rocking back and forth, me not being able to control, me hugging myself and saying the words, "Please wake up," over and over and over. I started to listen, and then I got in. Then I started to understand a little bit, not much, but the little bit I did understand, I fell right into that cry with me, with myself.
Mm.
Yeah,
Beautiful, Carlos.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Mm. We got the piano starting here, so that's a good
yeah,
little transition. But this could be a good segue into just completing this particular
yeah. Most
theme,
definitely. That's
and
that's a
and
good.
and
Yeah,
we'll chunk up themes every week or whenever, however long we meet.
cool.
And there's just so much to unpack in this, and really, my hope is that healing can be brought to everyone involved, both the person who has been incarcerated, the victims of crime, the
Yes,
community that is surrounded by this or is affected by this. And
yes,
so
yes. That's
um,
it, brother.
this is really what the intention of this podcast is. And so I'm so grateful just to begin this journey, and we'll see where it goes.
Man, I love it, bro.
Thank you so much, Carlos.
Ah, I love it, bro.
Love it. That's good. Good start, huh?
Yeah, good start.
We'll see how